Today, Zenith Will Rule has asked me to review yet another Mamoru Hosoda film, and it's one he's put out rather recently, in 2015. The Boy and the Beast. Kinda sounds like a very different take on Beauty and the Beast. But no, it's nothing like that. This is more of a coming-of-age story where characters learn to grow past their faults or move on from tragedies, but with that fantasy twist that while many have done before, Mamoru tends to add his own take onto it. After this, though, The Girl Who Left Through Time will be the one main movie he's done that I haven't seen. But otherwise, let's see how this compares with the other main movies he's directed that I've seen. This is The Boy and the Beast. We open with narration from two of our main characters that tells us a bit about the plot ahead, involving the Beast Kingdom, or Jutengai as they call it, while also making light fun of how most stories start out long ago.
Anyhow, the story begins right here in Jutengai, a thriving land that is home to about 100,000 beasts. The Lord of Jutengai had ruled for many years, but then one day he announced that he was going to retire from his post and reincarnate as a god.
I just love this animation bit. Everyone is represented by flames that almost give off a realistic vibe during certain frames. Plus, it makes me think these beings are like spirits, which tend to have these forms. Anyway, more or less, they tell us about how the Lord of the Kingdom will reincarnate into a deity and needs to find a successor, one being Eozen, who is built up as the most popular of the two, while also being a father of two, and Kumatetsu, who is also really powerful, very equal in ability, and yet...
Kumatetsu's character was a different story. He was rough around the edges, a bit crude and often selfish. He did not have a single apprentice.
Yes, strong fighter though he was, he had no apprentice, nor did he have any sons.
Man, they both sound interesting. I can't wait to see what they look like. But first, we have to go to Shibuya, and using the same kind of credit shots as in earlier movies, we soon get introduced to Ren, whose parents were divorced and his mother recently passed away. Now having to live off the streets as he ran away, he encounters a strange little creature.
You're so tiny. What are you? A baby mouse, maybe? Hold on a sec. Take it. Go on.
After feeding the creature, he reveals the reason he ran away from home is because his father hasn't made contact with him since his mother's passing, and there's no way he can live with his legal guardians.
I hate everybody. I hate everybody. I hate them. I hate them. I hate them all. I hate everybody!
Now, realistically, it's always hard to cope with losing family members, especially when having to put up with the idea of a divorce. But I only have one question. Do you not have any friends? I ask this because he's sounding like he absolutely hates humanity now. So it only makes me wonder more about how this divorce affected him if he doesn't even have friends. Which can happen, but I'd like to see more of his past.
I hate them. Hate them.
Are we sure this isn't set in Tokyo Mirage Sessions or any of the Persona games? As he mopes with the only companion he does have, apparently its name is Chico, we overhear two people walking down the street talking about Eozen. Surely one of them has to be Kumatetsu, and he's voiced by John Swasey, aka Crocodile from One Piece. His friend, Tadara, voiced by Ian Sinclair, sarcastically suggests he takes a human apprentice, and well, since they just passed one...
Talking. That means you're alive then. Where's your mom, kid?
Go away.
Where's your dad? Where's he?
Shut up.
Answer me. Where are they?
Shut up, shut up, shut up! Say anything else and I'll kill you!
Oh wow, now I'm scared.
Let's take a look at the little brat.
What are you?
Not too bad.
Let's just get out of here.
Oh, good. For a minute, I thought he was going to abduct him like Batman. He does encourage him to follow, and, well, Ren does follow, only to lose them. What really gets him going, though, is when the authorities find him. As he runs, he finally catches Kumatetsu going down an alleyway, and after going down it himself, he finds himself in a strange place with random animals all about. Kind of a mind screw. But then... My God, he stumbled into a furry convention! I know, obvious joke is obvious. He can't return to the real world, so he just runs out into the streets. More or less, the Beast Kingdom is a lot like the human world, but with more old-school Japan traditions. And civilians that look like the Mink tribe from One Piece. And like minks, they tend to have some of their native animal behaviors.
What do you say? Want to skin him and see what we can get for his hide?
Yeah, we could, or we could eat him or put him in a cage. What do you think?
Help! Someone help!
Put the boy down.
This is Hyakushubo, an apprentice monk who tells Ren about how their worlds work and even says he'll help him get home. But Kumatetsu, who appears drunk, finds him and tries to take him in as an apprentice. This gives us a good insight of how these bizarre characters behave.
You monks are all the same. There are more important things in the world than kindness, you know.
I'm just saying you might try not to be so rough.
It's not like he's gonna break, and he's not lost either. He's my apprentice as of today.
What?
Oh, oops. Didn't I tell you?
Your apprentice, but he's a human child.
What do I care if he's a human or a toilet brush? An apprentice is an apprentice, got it?
Whoa, whoa! What's he doing here? I told you I was kidding.
Tatara, tell me what's going on.
The Lord told him that if he really wants to be the successor, he should start by finding an apprentice. He's not like Yozen, though. I mean, boys aren't exactly lining up for the right to call him master.
So he's more or less an asshole? Like literally, he forces Ren to live with him, gives him a crap bed to sleep in, threatens to kick him out if he cries. Are you sure this kid should be living with him? He seems like a disgruntled drunk who might actually eat Ren if he goes off the deep end. And it's not like Ren hasn't gotten over his human hate. Don't get mad at him if he decides to shift his hate over to you guys too. Since Ren won't tell him his name, but he does reveal that he's 9 years old, Kumatetsu, who I'm just gonna call Kuma for now on, because it's shorter, decides to name him Kyuta. To further showcase that he misses his mother, he has to have a hallucination of her. Actually, this reveal of him liking omelets goes well with this breakfast scene with Kuma, who prefers to eat his rice and eggs raw.
I don't eat eggs raw!
Huh?
How can you? It's disgusting.
You don't know what you're talking about. Just watch.
Yep, disgusting.
You gotta eat.
While this is a funny setup to what will become a father and son relationship, he does run away again, only to run into these two kids, Jiromaru and Ichiro Hiko, one of them looking very human-like. But hell, Ren's too set on that ice cream. We also meet their father, who happens to be Yozen, who appears to be a boar. And while he seems like the cool and calm guy, he does know how to provide snark onto his rival. Of course, once he finds out Kuma's new apprentice is a human, we learn some interesting details.
Listen to me, Kumatetsu. You don't know what you're getting yourself into. What are you talking about? I'm just taking an apprentice.
You know why we don't live among the humans. They appear weak, but they harbor darkness within their hearts. What if this boy gets possessed by that darkness? Have you stopped to consider that? He could grow up to become a terrible monster.
And you don't? I mean, either way, this is clearly foreshadowing something for later, but from the way you sound, it's like only humans can become monsters. Which is why you have one. Ah well, Kuma challenges him to a fight as a way to try and make him leave Ren. So of course, everyone spreads out so we can watch these two man-beasts fight.
Stop him!
Crush him, Kumatetsu! I'm gonna use it! Yeah, so do I. Me too. If we all been the same, there's no bet.
I'll take that.
Stand back, you two.
Kumatetsu's a disgrace. What does he think he's doing? He has no manners.
Be more like Yozen!
Sword fight? Is someone gonna die?
The Lord forbids us to unsheath our swords. They're even tied shut in the scabbards to prevent anyone from doing so.
Well, that's a relief. Kuma obviously has his own way of fighting, which makes me think he's more of a street fighter than an actual swordsman. Though he could be like Mugen, but then...
He's huge!
Don't worry, boys.
I think most people would be freaked out that two large men got beefier all of a sudden. But it's still interesting seeing things play out, even if I have no idea what the heck that was about. Now they're really fighting like animals. However, while it looks like Kuma has the upper hand, we find out that cheers really do affect their fighting prowess.
The crowd. They're all cheering for the other guy. No one's rooting for him.
What, the earlier cheers weren't enough? And what about Tadara? Isn't he a supporter? Either way, Yozen overpowers him, but Kuma is stubborn and forces him to use their swords. Ren just remains silent for a while until he decides to give him his support. But that surprise of actually being cheered by someone catches him off guard. Game over for Kuma? Nope, because the Lord shows up to end it.
I'd like an explanation for this. It's not time for the battle. Nor will it be until I've decided what god I will become.
Forgive me, sir. Kumatetsu brought a human here. I ask that he be punished.
Judging by his current state of unconsciousness, I would say you've already seen to that without my help.
Whatever. I don't care what you say. Kyuta is my apprentice now.
Also, the Lord has the same powers of Ren in that he can teleport. Only his is more like actual teleportation, and Ren is just... well, it's childlike sneaking, really. So the Lord lets Kuma have Ren as an apprentice, as he believes even humans can escape darkness. Ren even decides for himself he wants to become an apprentice if it means getting strong like Kuma, even trying the raw egg and rice meal.
Wow, yummy.
He says as Ren pukes on his little pet. So for the time being, I'll be calling him Kyuta, since he's in apprentice mode, and for the next few scenes, he learns how to swordplay. Of course, it isn't just a learning experience for Kyuta. Even Kuma has to learn how to actually be a teacher, since he thinks on the just do it philosophy.
What's there to teach? Just do it!
I can't.
Do it!
I can't.
Go, stubborn boy!
Find a way to explain it to him. Try using different words.
Fine, I'll think of some. But I don't see what's wrong with the ones I used. You need to grab hold of the sword that's in here, in your soul. You have one, don't you?
What? You don't make any sense.
How much clearer do you need me to make it for you? You grab the sword. That's in your soul. Okay, now do it.
What, did he learn that one from Scott Pilgrim? He soon gives up, which leads to Tadara telling Kyuta to just give up and go home. But while he waits for him to come back, Hyakushubo tells him a bit more about Kuma's life while teaching him how to be an apprentice.
Don't mind him. He has a temper. Nobody is going to deny that. But the nice thing about him is he forgets everything the next day.
It makes you wonder what sort of life he had to make him this way, or why he has to feel alone. As for Kyuta, he learns that when you're the only human in a society of animal folk, you get treated badly for being in the minority. Luckily, Ichirohiko is the one reasonable being here who knows that bullying is wrong, but calling him a weakling is a-okay.
My brother from attacking you again. I'll try at least.
You better not tell on me. I'll know if you do.
That's enough. Let's go.
I don't like wimps. They're losers. Everybody should know how to fight. Hey! Do you even know how strong my brother is? Human, he can move things without touching them.
Wait, so humans have special powers in this world too? And I really can't get over that no one can tell Ichirohiko is a human. He has the same kind of face as Kyuta. that hoodie shouldn't be fooling anyone. But it's going to have to be brought up eventually since he wants to be like his father, yet is unaware of what he truly is. Anyway, Kyuta starts calling Kuma out for being a big lazy oaf who wouldn't be able to hold a candle to the ever more diligent and highly trained Iozan.
Say it again, brat! Go on! Say it again!
Say it 100 times! You're a big, stupid loser!
Calm down, both of you.
Don't talk to your master like that!
Then start acting more like the master!
What?
You heard me! You get angry too easily!
Hey!
And you give up too easily!
Not your...
In my head, I can only picture Nami telling off Crocodile for being unable to beat Luffy for almost the exact same reasons as in this movie. The Lord later shows up, seemingly happy that he's training Kyuta so much, and even gives him some letters from other individuals that can help him out in their training, meaning he can't back out of this. So we get a short training montage before they go seeking advice about true strength.
Many fighters do. However, I do have the ability to create illusions, and sometimes there can be more truth within an illusion than in reality. Therefore, true strength is...
True strength is...
Why, it's an illusion!
I possess the power of telekinesis, which may seem like strength to you, but there is something even my ability is powerless against. Therefore, true strength is...
True strength is?
Could you do me a favor?
Huh?
It's my back. I really could use a good massage. Telekinesis does squat for lower back pain.
To forget about time and the world and myself. Only by doing so can I transcend the confines of reality. Thus, true strength is...
True strength is?
So unless this is meant to have hidden meanings, they find it useless. But at least we get to learn about why Kuma is so stubborn.
He had no parents or master to teach him.
Huh?
He had to become strong without anybody's help. In some ways, that's his greatest asset. In others, however, it's his greatest failing. Because he learned everything independently, he can now neither take instruction nor give it.
I can see how that would happen.
Despite all that, he's still capable of wisdom every once in a while. Like what he said earlier.
It definitely shows how similar the two are since they're both loners. Only one doesn't have any skills for anything but has a chance to, but only if the man who everyone gave up on actually thought about how his student lived. As for Kyuta, his hint comes from both Chico and Hallucination Mother again. More or less, he has to imitate his master, though thankfully while with pants. And I really like this sequence of events. This is where the relationship between the two really kicks off as Kyuta starts getting the hang of shadow training, and while Kuma doesn't like it at first, he starts to understand that this is how he can learn from him. He just lets him do it while still doing chores. It gets to the point where he doesn't even need to see him to imitate his actions, even kicking his butt with a broom.
You kicked his butt! Good job, Kyuta! Maybe you aren't as hopeless as I thought you were. Looks like you'll be learning from him now, Kumatetsu.
Learn from him? You're joking, right?
He agrees to teach him swordsmanship and stuff while having Kyuta teach him some other things. This is father and son time, and the way it's paced, it shows a nice progression between the two's growth. Kyuta gains the respect of Kiromaru before the eventual time skip, and as he grows, Iozan and the Lord start becoming impressed by Kuma growing past his usual self. Even better, people start asking to become his apprentice. Anyway, 8 years later, and Kyuta's grown from having Lucy Kristen's voice to Eric Vale's. Iozan's children have grown up too, with Ichiro Hiko having the voice of Austin Tyndall, aka Karma from Assassination Classroom. However, by chance, it seems Kyuta's managed to return to Shibuya. Instead of panicking and wondering how to get back, he instead goes to the library where he goes to read.
Chance caught sight of him in the beginning. Hey. How do you say this?
The white whale.
This is Kaidi. She'll be relevant for the next portion of the plot in that it gives Kyuta a future love interest while also helping him catch up on all the human world stuff. Kinda weird how he disappears for a long time and he loses his hate for humanity. Well, there's something to it that comes up in a little while, but for now, he saves her from bad students and she agrees to help teach him things. Now this sequence is fine and all, but I don't know. Kaidi just came out of nowhere with the only bit of backstory hinting that she's been to multiple schools and has parent issues. And it seemed like the only way to teach Kyuta about the deeper meaning behind Ahab and the white whale. Also, during this sequence, we see Kyuta back in the beast world. What? So, now that he found a way back, he has no problem crossing? Then what the hell was that earlier when he couldn't go back as a kid? And okay, it sounds like through Kaidi, he learns that her parents never interact with her like he does with Kuma. So it's leading to that true self motif that some stories use regarding multiple lives. She encourages him to take the college entry exams since he ends up considering it if it means learning more, which means the next few bits involve him trying to figure out how to actually get in, with some people helping and some not. But most importantly, he learns where his father is, and since he's been wanting to see him before, he considers seeking him out. Since it's roughly an hour to the end, I'm curious to see how this ties into the rest of the plot from before, since I know there's something we haven't seen yet. So, he finds him on the street. Now what happens?
Do you know me? It's been a while, but maybe... Of course not. Never mind. Ren? Ren? Is that you? You've gotten so big, I didn't recognize you. Where have you been? Oh, someone's been looking after me.
This movie does well with the emotional side of things, and it tugs at your heartstrings since you don't know whether or not he really was going to be greeted like that or not. It's just really nice knowing that the father never forgot about him, and he wanted to find him for so long, though it still makes me wonder why they left each other in the first place. But now we have a problem. Reuniting with his father means he might have to live a normal life again, but he can't forget about Kuma. However, he seems unable to accept the idea that Kyuta wants to go back to the human world for good. This certainly breaks him well, since he saw himself in Kyuta. He can't even teach his new students anymore. This is hurting both characters, though with Kyuta it's worse, as he's unable to accept his father's desire to live with him as he believes he knows nothing about him after all this time. And you know how Yozen said there was something about humans and darkness? Well...
That looks like... Me as a boy.
I always knew this would take place in a world like that in Atlas games. Right there is the face of a shadow, the true self. Oh god, it's even worse than I thought. He's become a hollow inside! The darkness in him starts to take hold, and it's very creepy in a way. He almost takes it out on Kaidi, who seems to snap him out of it.
I know how you feel. Sometimes I get frustrated like that too. Like I've got so much anger inside me, my heart is going to explode with it. And it's not just us. Everyone feels it. We all have bad moments. Ren, it's okay. All right.
As a way to keep his sanity, she gives him her bracelet. Returning to the Beast World, he ends up meeting Jiromaru, who gives him a nice reminder that he shouldn't always stay mad at his master and whatnot, while Ichirohiko shows him out. But something isn't quite right with him.
A good match? Yeah, right. Everyone knows who's going to win. Kumatetsu may have cleaned up his act some, and you may have gotten stronger, but he's still a lazy slob and you're still just a human! Know your place!
When the hell did he go from reasonable jerk to just pompous jerk? Also, he has telekinesis, which seems to be tied with the hole in his heart. Maybe that's why he's a dick. Anyway, day of the fight arrives. Despite missing his student, Kuma has to keep some determination for the fight ahead, and after the Lord decides what he'll reincarnate into, they soon get the match underway. No music overplay this time. Let's see this awesome fight for a bit.
Ready?
He's pushing himself too hard.
He needs to hold something back for later.
Dad! Shut up and watch!
Of course, it doesn't pick up until after Kyuta shows himself and starts bickering with him in the middle of the fight. Though honestly, I couldn't have this any other way, and it helps get his spirit back.
Shut up! What's that for? Kyuta, stupid human, always interfering.
Oh, suck it, Karma. You're going down.
One last
One, 2, 3, 4, 10! And the winner of the match is Kumatetsu!
Hell yeah, that was epic. Okay, not as epic as the fights in Summer Wars, but this has a lot of impact nonetheless. This is the result of these two bonding for that long, and it has led to this glorious moment, where everyone is proud of their new lord and everyone is happy.
What's this red stuff? Kyuta, what's going on?
Look, Father! With the power of my telekinesis and your sword, we've made things right! You're the true winner! A lazy slob like him couldn't defeat you, not in a million years!
Oh god damn it, Karma. Koro-sensei, where are you? Your student is being bad again.
You know it's true, Kyuta! You know!
Please stop, Ichirohiko!
This is it. One more push and it's finished. Watch me, Father!
Well, he snapped, but now this awakens the anger in Kyuta's heart and ends up drawing his sword. However, before he can kill him, Chiko makes him remember the bracelet Kaede gave him. snapping him back to normal. Ichiro Hiko becomes engulfed in his darkness and disappears just before Kyuta passes out. Kuma's injuries are severe, but it looks like he'll be fine. But otherwise, we do get an explanation from Iozan about Ichiro Hiko. He found him as a baby and tried to keep it a secret, hoping he can keep his darkness at bay. However, the more he grew up and not knowing why he isn't changing into like his father, the more the darkness took hold. This is conflicting, and not something you can simply say, well, you should have told him he was human sooner. We're dealing with supernatural activities for one thing, but also how often do people just accept what they are told after being told other things? It's not easy to accept the truth. Kyuta decides to go out to stop him, and his friends try to get him to stay out, but...
Thank you for yelling at me. I'm glad you care enough to do it. But I'm not leaving because I want revenge. Ichiro Hiko and I are the same. I could easily have been the one swallowed by darkness today. But in the end, I wasn't. Because of the people I was lucky enough to have been raised by. Including you, both of you. Ichiro Hiko's darkness is mine as well. We share it. Please understand, I have to go. Look after him.
And it's true what they say, the people he grew up with were what helped keep him from turning. So this makes for a nice emotional moment. Anyway, it seems Ichiro Hiko went to the human world, so Kyuta heads there and just stands in the crowd like he did in the beginning of the movie. He somehow gets into contact with Kairi, what did she get him a phone too? Just to give her the white whale book in case he gets killed. It's a meaningful moment, but you know what this means with her being here, right?
Kyuta! I hate you. Stupid human, you ruin everything. This can't happen here.
What is that?
It's dangerous. Go! Get out of here! Now!
That's right, she's going to get involved even though she's only been with him for only a half hour in the movie. So fight time. After sending her away, he holds off the steadily creepy Ichiro Hiko. Have I ever mentioned that Mamoru's art style makes the animation more fluid, despite not always having the kind of detail other anime have? I guess that's why Pokemon went that approach. Less detail means more fluid motion. Now for some symbolism. After reading the White Whale book, somehow his shadow becomes a giant whale, which means chaos and destruction all around. All they can do is run, even taken to the subway train. He decides the only way he could possibly stop him now is to absorb him into his own vacuum of a heart and kill himself that way to defeat him, before getting the speech from Kairi.
I don't think I've ever been so scared in my life. But you know, I remembered something. The first time we studied together, it was the happiest I'd been in a while. I know that must sound crazy, but I've never met anyone who enjoys learning as much as you do. It's pretty inspiring. When I'm with you, I feel like I can do anything, like I'm suddenly stronger. So I want to be there to give you strength when you need it. If you're fighting something, then I'm fighting it too. Don't forget, okay?
Well, he was just giving Kuma major support earlier, so her support speech is alright. By the way, any damage the human world takes transfers to the beast world too. Just as it seems the human resentment factor is coming back, Kuma shows up to say he wants to give Kyuta help somehow. More or less, as a lord he can reincarnate into something else, and he has to decide what to reincarnate into, which we see in the next scene as now Kyuta and Kairi are in an empty area to properly face Ichiro Hiko.
Kaide!
What do you want, huh? To hunt down your enemy and rip him apart? To destroy him? Do you really think that will make you happy? You may look like some giant monster, but you're just a human after petty vengeance! Don't you get it? We all carry darkness inside us! Ren does and so do I! It's not just you! But we can fight back! I'm fighting it right now, and believe me, it isn't easy. But you didn't even try! You just let it swallow you up! And that makes you weaker than us!
Okay, I appreciate you helping, but you didn't have quite as big a darkness as the rest of the cast. You just had some parent acknowledgement issues, but that's something we didn't get to see that much anyway. Facing him head on, Kyuta prepares to kill himself after absorbing the darkness. However...
Kyuta! The sword is Kumatetsu!
He thought you might need some help, so he reincarnated into that sword.
Is that really you? He chose what to become! He said he would be the sword in your soul! The sword in my soul.
You have one, don't you?
What? You don't make any sense.
How much clearer do you need me to make it for you? You grab the sword that's in your soul. Ah, not bad for a human, kid. I knew I was right about you. Well, now you're a 9-year-old named Kyuta. Now we're in business. I hope you are ready for some serious training.
Okay, let's face it. Kuma's become a Zanpakuto spirit. Even though he won't be wielded like one, he more or less has become one. So, one last attack is left. Watching for the moment that Ichiro Hiko becomes human, Kyuta eventually makes his attack. And... that was more epic than I thought. Well done, movie. You did good. As we start winding things down, Ichiro Hiko wakes up in a different bed with his family and the bracelet Kyuta gave him, which means he'll no longer forget who he really is. While Kyuta talks with his inner Kuma about the usual things. Also, if you're wondering what the cover-up is to what happened, well, the cameras never caught the shadow whale. Just Ichiro Hiko, and only reported on the truck that caused an explosion. Other than that, the Beast Kingdom celebrates Kyuta's victory. Kaidi even came in since she managed to get his entrance exam application. How she got into the kingdom? Well, somebody invited her. Somehow. In the end though, he would reconcile with his father, he ends up going to college, and all is well.
I'm so happy for you, Ren.
Holy crap, that was amazing! So, definitely a kick-ass action fantasy movie. And if it were released this year instead, I think it would be a good year for animal people films. There's plenty of characterization going on between Kyuta and Kuma, starting out as individuals who wouldn't rely on anyone else, but with different self-problems, only to grow on each other like a father and son would, albeit the kind you'd see between Zoro and Sanji, but nonetheless, it's a good relationship that's enforced all throughout. Some of the backstories don't get full elaboration, but after a while you end up not missing out, since the development is strong enough to hold up that small issue and actually allow for open interpretation. It can't be said for everybody else though. Like with Kaidi and Ichiro Hiko especially, since we never see the actual moment of change with him during or in between the time skip. I feel the animation's gotten a bit better from last time, but otherwise the fluidity has improved enough to where I have noticed a few times where it does show more detail than usual, while still being like it always has. But the CG in this is also pretty good. almost to where I forget it was CG in some areas, and the soundtrack just makes the action work wonders. This is definitely an entertaining movie. You might find some parts of the story cliche given the whole student and master routine, and how the final battles are presented, but it's still a well-told story about a boy raised by beasts, but can still find himself as human as them all. Tune in next time though, where we look at a webcomic featuring cats and it's the 1920s. Yeah, I know. Last Patreon review is on Lackadaisy. Catch you then!